So what does it mean to you to live a meaningful life? And how do you find the answer to that question? Well, I used to think that it was pretty easy. Just find a husband, have some children, have a career. That's it. Any questions? Well, I was pretty well on my way. I was married to a guy that I loved very much, and we were planning to have our first child. And I was a manager on the secondary level, working my way to the top, when my husband came home one evening, and he looked at me, and he said, "The doctor called today, and you and I, we will never be able to have children. And by the way, I don't love you anymore." Well, for 6 months, my entire life turned black. But after those 6 months, I started sensing that there is a sense of freedom in this, because there's no path I have to follow. There's nothing I have to fulfill. And I've been so afraid of failing. But I failed with everything that was important. So there's nothing left to fail with. Let's just go out and explore and see the beauty of the world, because there's so much to experience. And a friend, she gave me a call asking, "Kristina, do you want to run a 10-kilometer run with me?" I was 31 by then. And first I thought, ooh, that's kind of long. But I wanted to see if I was able to do it, if I was capable. So I started running together with her. And together we reached the finishing line, and I felt, wow, what a wonderful thing to do. And I started running longer and longer distances. It took me several years, but I went to 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers. I ran for 48 hours. And I didn't really understand why I was doing it, but I mean, it was fun. And I thought it was good to have some fun while I was working on, well, more important things, like having a career, finding a new husband. But as I turned 40, I realized that, that new husband, he's not coming. And if I want some children, I better make it on my own. So I went to a clinic, and boy, that was the most beautiful day. It was sunshine outside and sunshine inside. The day when I called my friend from a street corner and told her, "You know what? I have 2 golden eggs inside me." And it lasted for 2 weeks. Then they were gone. I did a few more tries, but I had to face the fact that there will be no children. But a friend of mine, we had decided that if there would be no children, let's make an adventure. So we bought a ticket. We flew down to Turkey. We started in Istanbul, and then we ran all the way up to Finland. And boy, you should have seen us. We were capable. I was 42, she was 50. We did a marathon a day for 75 days in a row. Thanks. Thank you. And most of all, we met so many incredible people, and we saw so much beautiful nature. And when we came to Finland, we took our kayaks and then we paddled back to Sweden as well. And yeah, of course. But as we did that, I started realizing that people around me, they started saying that, hey, if you can do that, then I can do this. And they started fulfilling their dreams. And I felt, whoa, this is wonderful. It seems like what I'm doing is inspiring people. So I started holding lectures, and I didn't know the meaning of that either, but it was a lot of fun. So I made it. And it was actually, well, much more fun than being a manager. But there was one thing that was bothering me, and that was the growing xenophobia that exists in Sweden and also here in Europe, in other parts of Europe. And xenophobia, in my mind, that means being scared of someone who is different from myself. And, well, I just thought, oh, I don't want a society where we are scared of each other. I want a society where we feel trust, where we like each other. And the biggest fear I thought was between the Western world and the Islamic world. And then I thought, well, I'm a Westerner. I'm a part of the case. And if I want trust, well, I need to give trust to get trust. So why not do what I usually do? I put on my running shoes and go running through Iran, a Muslim country with Sharia laws, putting my life in the hands of an unknown people, kind of the enemy in this conflict, and see what happens. What if trust works? How will it affect the world here back at home then? So one day I find myself in my manager's office asking, can you please lay me off? Because I couldn't get a vacation. And so he did. And that gave me the chance. And here I am, see, at the border towards Turkey. Boy, I'm ready to start my run. But what if they won't like what I'm doing? What if they will beat me or throw stones at me or rape me or put me in prison? But as I started running, people stopped their cars and they gave me fruit. And then if they didn't have fruit, they bought fruit. 3-4 kilos, just bam, into the baby jogger. And it was really heavy to run with it. There were so many meetings along the way. I mean, this guy with the flowers, he came running out from his flower shop as I passed his shop, just wanting to give me these roses. And the children here, they ran with me and they wanted my autograph. And Sarah, in the right-left corner, she invited me to sleep in her home. And there she gave me homemade marmalade and jam that I was supposed to bring back to my mother as a gift from her. And Farid, he found me on the internet. He also found how to spell welcome in Swedish. And then he came driving along the road with this sign. Because he wanted to invite me to the school where he was teaching children to speak English. And the news spread on social media about my run. And from social media, it spread to traditional media. And it was so much fun to see these articles. I have no clue what they're saying. And it was also really interesting to be interviewed on television, on Google Translate. But it felt like, I mean, TV showed me, I was in articles, radio stations interviewed me, and suddenly it felt like the entire country knew what I was doing. And people started celebrating me. And here I'm reaching Babel, a city. And bikers, they meet me several kilometers out of the town because they want to bike with me together into the city center where 50 people have gathered because they want to celebrate the simple fact that I want to come to their country because they know that their country is known as a terrorist state here in the West. And they are happy that I want to see them as humans. And my run through Iran was approximately 2,000 kilometers. It took me 2 months. And as I was running through the country, I discovered that families trust their own family, but they don't trust other families. But now they saw a woman running from family to family to family, being safe, no matter where she was. And this created such a big pride in Iran that one family, they rented an entire restaurant. They invited all the 34 different families where I'd been sleeping And they treated them with a big party because they wanted to celebrate themselves and their own kindness. And at this party, they gave me the most beautiful letter I ever received. And it ended with, if you, as an outsider, can trust us, then we can also trust each other and be graceful to each other. You gave us a better world, and we are grateful for that. And now it's been 3 years since I did my run, and now an Iranian woman, she put on her running shoes, and she ran all alone through her country. And for me, she is such a hero. And this is so important because I hope that what she is doing will one day help to change the laws of the country and make men and women equal according to the laws. And I'm so grateful for that. But, I didn't mean to affect Iran, actually. I wanted to affect the world back here at home. And as I was running, I was carrying a video camera, and I did record a lot of people, and 2 guys took that material. They created a little movie. It's only 4.5 minutes. Today, more than 20 million people have seen this movie. And the comments I get is, wow, this is what humanity is all about. It's all about love. It's all about trust. It's all about friendship. And The Guardian happened to see that movie, and they created a video of their own. And that video, it had 10 million views in 2 weeks. And after that, I was completely drenched with interviews, requests from all over the world. And I could spread the beautiful message from this run. So, what is it then that gives me my meaning? Well, I know I make a difference. I made a difference for the people of Iran, and I also make a difference here at home. Today we see racism, intolerance, anti-democracy movements. And I know that this story, this run, brings hope. And I also know that it reminds people of what the true reality is. And the true reality is that the core of humankind is love. Nothing else. But the title of this speech is How to Dance with Life. And how do you do that? Well, I used to think that I was leading my life. It was my direction. Husband, children, career, that's it. But life didn't want me to go there. It led me in another direction, and I didn't want to go there first. But as I accepted it, I discovered the joy of running. And in the joy of running, I just kept on developing and dancing with life. And it took me 13 years before I had the courage to let go of my old life. And finally just invest my entire life into what I believed in. And that was to run through Iran. And as I did that, I took the lead. I was deciding the direction, but this time it was in the same direction as life wanted me to go. And then life became my partner. And together we ended up in places I could never imagine. For instance, standing here today. And it also took me to other places. I did happen to meet a new husband. And it turned out he had a little daughter. She was 7 when we met. And this year, she sent me this message. It says, Happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not done yet. Wow. you're so wonderful. Thank you. Well, so I ended up having a daughter. Not in the way I planned to, but in my opinion, in a much better way than I could ever imagine. And life also gave me something else. When I quit my job, I was of course worried about my economy, but life turned me into a lecturer and an author. And today, for 3 years, I've been actually managing to make a living out of what gives me a meaning. And now I fully trust that life will keep on providing me with what I need, because it's always done that. And finally, the reason why I'm standing here today is that having the right to be yourself also means to fulfill my meaning and your meaning. And actually, the only thing I want is for you to do your dance. And maybe you're already dancing with life. Maybe you're just about to start. And I don't know what your dance is. I just know that it's most likely very different from mine. And, I just want to share some of my experience. And to dance with life, you need to listen to what's inside you. That's where the music is. And to listen to the inside means listening to what gives you joy and what gives you meaning, and to put action in that, because action is the crucial point. If you don't do anything, nothing will happen. So put action. And when you act, you will probably end up doing some failures. And if that happens, well, just meet it with curiosity, because failures gives us new learnings and also put us in new directions in the dance. And also, there will most likely be pain also in life. And the only way I found to handle pain is not to run away from it, but just to feel it. And as I feel it, it will pass, and life will set me in a new direction. And to dance the dance, you also need courage. And courage simply means doing what you want to do, even though you're scared of it. And the more you do that, the more you will practice it, the more courage you will have. And in this dance, sometimes life will lead you, sometimes you will lead. And the final part, to be a brilliant dancer, you need to trust your partner. Thank you.